there. Hi, welcome. It is the Nisha Jackson Show. I'm Rusty Humphries. She's Nisha Jackson. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right there. And also make sure you go to NishaJackson.com or OnePeakMedical.com. Also like us and share it on Facebook. Nisha, you've been on a roll the past few weeks.
Yes.
Been on a roll. Lots of good stuff going on.
Yes.
What is it that's got your attention this week?
Well, I want to talk about, this time of year, January, February, March, we start really thinking about trying to get ourselves back on track.
Yes.
And some people will start out with a bang in January, and then by January 10th, it's all, blown out of the water. They're not exercising. They've fallen off the wagon. Or some people, will make it all the way through January, having a dry January, not drinking and trying to manage their sugar intake. And then they get to February and boom, it's gone. Mm. So I just wanted to give, there's still a very high level of stress going on in our country. There's a lot of people just not feeling well, coming off of everything that happened in 20, just trying to get their business back together and trying to get their finances back together and body back together, all of these things. And there's just there seems to be, Rusty, still a great deal of stress. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure we're ever going to get into a place in our lives nationally speaking, just people in the U.S., or even outside the U.S., I'm not sure we're ever going to get to a place where we say, oh my gosh, the stress is like nothing, right? It's always going to be something.
Right.
So I think it's important to share with everybody today, what kind of foods should we be eating that reduce stress in our body? Not just...
Okay, so it's pizza, hamburgers, hot dogs.
Right. So those foods are really great for stress reduction, but it only lasts like 5 minutes. And then it's bad.
Okay, that's a good question. Why is it? It does feel good at first, and then it goes away. Why?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. We didn't talk about that, the fact that we were going to talk about this,
mm-hmm.
but I'm glad you asked that question because that's a good question to answer. Because people say, if it's so bad for you, why does it work? So when you're feeling sad and depressed, why does it work if you have sugar? Why does it work if you have a Dr. Pepper? Why does it work if you have a bunch of chocolate or candy or cookies or something or pizza? Why does it work? And then I feel worse. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is it works because it raises the brain chemical called serotonin, and serotonin is the feel-good hormone. The problem is that serotonin goes up sharply after eating these foods, but then drops sharply. And that's why it's so addictive. That's why these foods that have a very high addicting potential, because it does work. The serotonin goes up, but it drops down abruptly, and that starts the habituation process. So it's not just one piece of pizza. You have to have multiple pieces of pizza to the point that you're sick.
And then the food companies create certain products to make it even worse, like Doritos, I'm guessing. They put something in that magic dust.
Right. And isn't it interesting that people know they're going to get sick, and they know ultimately they're going to feel worse, and they know they shouldn't be eating it, and yet the very thing, I can just say this like I understand it. I do understand this. The very thing that makes them so sick, they keep eating it.
Yeah.
They keep drinking it. It could even be alcohol. They know that they don't sleep as good at night when they drink alcohol, and they keep drinking it. Or they know they can't meet their weight loss goals because they're eating too much sugar foods during the day or sugary drinks, and they keep eating and drinking them. So it's the very thing that makes them sick because, like you said, it works.
Right.
It raises the brain chemicals. So I'm going to teach you what to do today, what kind of foods you could be eating that would create a more satisfying feeling inside of you, so that you might not want some of these other things that are drinks or foods that you shouldn't be having.
All right, I'm all ears. I don't know about you, but this one's a good one. So go ahead, Nisha.
So instead of having carbohydrates that are, we call them quick carbohydrates, they're very low in fiber, but they're very high in sugar. Instead of having those foods, and I'm not talking about candy and crackers and things like that. I'm talking about just simple carbohydrates. So all you have to do is look at the label. And if the carbohydrate is very low in fiber, that means it's a very simple carbohydrate. So you want to have complex carbohydrates because they will still help your brain meaning you'll still make serotonin, but you won't have that quick release of serotonin and then that drop off. It also won't be as habit forming. Some people actually do need to have some carbohydrates. Some people that don't have carbohydrates, they starve themselves of carbohydrates. And I'm even talking about vegetables. Vegetables are carbohydrates.
Okay. Can you give me a quick example? What would be a simple carbohydrate?
A simple carbohydrate would be like crackers.
Okay.
Or cereal. Or pasta. That would be a simple carbohydrate.
Okay.
A complex carbohydrate would be like vegetables or something that is very high in fiber. So it could be a type of cracker that's very high in fiber, like it's actually good for you. So slow cooked oatmeal would be another complex carbohydrate that's higher in fiber, and it still helps create a sense of like feeling good, like that serotonin, the feel good hormone, brain chemical. It still creates that, but it does it in a slower fashion. It doesn't give you a real sharp incline and then drop off, and then the whole.
I'm not sure if this is the best suggestion, but you turned me on to crackers that were made from almonds.
Yes, nut thins.
Nut thins, yes, those are awesome.
Yes, nut thins would be much better for you. So that's a good example because it's higher in fiber and it's not made from flour. So if you can eat less foods made from flour, which are the simple carbohydrates, and more foods that are from vegetables, higher fiber carbohydrates, or like nut thins, there's other things that you can buy now that are not made from flour, crackers, that would be much better for you.
Okay.
Also, eating oranges, and I'm not talking about 7 oranges in a day, I'm talking about 1 orange, or something that's very high in vitamin C. And that could even just be a vitamin C supplement. What vitamin C does is vitamin C is really important for making cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and what happens is that many times after a long period of stress, your body starts underproducing cortisol. When it underproduces cortisol, you become exhausted. You don't get through your day very well. You have a very difficult time concentrating, and your memory is shot. And then when you go to sleep at night, instead of being able to get into a deep sleep, your mind is racing. So you have to have vitamin C in order to make cortisol. But if you don't have any vitamin C in your diet, either A, you're not taking it, or B, you're not eating it, you're not getting enough vitamin C to make the cortisol that helps you manage stress.
Now, a lot of people are going to go, okay, well, vitamin C, great. I'm just going to get a gallon of orange juice and just down that, and I'm going to get my vitamin C. We've learned in the past that's not the way to go.
That's right. So
why?
Yeah, you don't want to have orange juice because it's just too much sugar. So that's why I said you don't need 7 oranges, which would be equivalent to like a glass of orange juice. You just need 1. Or you need to take a vitamin C supplement, which is what I would actually recommend that you do.
Okay.
I like people getting at least 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. It works better to take it with food because it's absorbed better. It's not as hard on the gut. But vitamin C is not only important for your immune system, but it's very important for your body's ability to manage stress. In fact, one study found out that looked at the correlation between low cortisol and high blood pressure. And they identified that there was a very high incidence of high blood pressure and low cortisol. So that's related to stress. So one of the ways that you can improve that is just increase the vitamin C in your diet or in your supplement so that you can make more cortisol and have better stress control.
Okay.
So vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Spinach is very high in magnesium.
Popeye likes spinach.
Eat spinach. Again, this goes back to the green leafy vegetables, eating more vegetables, which are complex carbohydrates. But magnesium seems to be very important for stress control, but also mood control and craving control. So people that have low magnesium levels have a tendency to overeat. They have a tendency to have more muscle pain because magnesium's great for your muscles. And they have a tendency to also have more headaches. So magnesium's a good supplement to be on. And you can take it at night. I would not recommend taking magnesium in the morning because it's a very calming supplement and it can sedate you too much.
Okay.
I take my magnesium at bedtime.
Okay.
It's also very important for your immune system.
I also take PM stress at nighttime, but that's me.
Yes, PM stress is very good. For back to the cortisol, the stress hormone. Thanks for that plug on the PM stress.
Gotcha.
Avocados
Really,
and good fats. Fatty fish, avocados, olive oil, almond oil. There's such good diet. People can control their cravings so much better when they have good fat in their diet. So, Rusty, it's interesting when people start going on a diet, they just eliminate all fat. And that's old school thinking. We actually used to think that a low-fat diet was good for you. Now we know it's actually bad for you, and it's very difficult for you to lose weight if you don't have good fat in your diet.
So I've heard the phrase, fat doesn't make you fat. Is that true?
That's right. Fat does not make you fat. In fact, good fat helps you lose bad fat.
Okay.
So if you want to lose fat on your body, you need to eat more good fat. And good fat actually makes you feel, again, satiated. You feel like you don't need to keep eating. So some people have a little half of an avocado 20 or 30 minutes before they eat dinner, and they find that they eat a lot less food at night, and they don't eat dessert as often afterwards. You know how you get in that habit of, I've got to eat, and then I got to have a little snack after dinner, a little sugary snack. People, the research has shown that if you eat a little bit of fat, 20 minutes, good fat, 20 to 30 minutes before you eat dinner, you actually will eat less food in the evening.
Okay.
And that's kind of important because, that's when most people gain their weight is they starve themselves during the day, and then when they come home at night, they're eating too much food. So when your body's not burning it, you're eating it.
Right.
Do you do that? Yeah, he does that too.
Anything bad that she talks about, I've probably done. So I'm kind of the poster child. I'm like Nisha's worst student. But
he's real though.
But I'm trying to tell you the truth.
He says the things that everybody else is dealing with, like everybody else wants to say.
Okay.
So these are the foods I'd like you to start eating more of: raw vegetables, nuts and seeds, green tea, or even black tea is fine. Think about getting on some herbal supplements that have 5-HTP in them.
What's that do?
Or our mood supplement. You can get our mood supplement online. It's just called Mood.
Mm-hmm.
And
good one.
What it really does is it helps your cravings because it raises the serotonin that we talked about earlier today, earlier in the show, is that if you raise your serotonin level, you will not be as likely to be craving foods that raise your serotonin, like sugary foods, or chips, or crackers, or cereal. Or muffins.
Cereal's supposed to be good for you. I see on there, it's got all kinds of things that are supposed to be good for you.
There are some cereals out now that actually are pretty good for you.
But not the old school ones.
But I would recommend not.
Okay. Well, Fruity Pebbles, that has the word fruit right in it.
Yeah, remember we talked about fruit. We're going to try to limit fruit.
Okay.
More vegetables. I haven't seen a vegetable cereal yet.
They didn't have Veggie Pebbles.
Veggie Pebbles.
Carrot Pebbles. I'm sure that's coming out soon. Some smart guy's going to do that.
And don't forget exercise, because when you exercise along with changing your diet and eating more of these types of foods, it reduces your cravings and reduces your appetite, and it makes you feel good about yourself.
Okay. How about beady pebbles, like little beets?
No more pebbles. We're done with pebbles today. No pebbles. Cereal. Don't eat cereal.
No, I'm just saying that would be a good one if they could come up with one that looked like beets.
Beet pebbles. I don't think that's going to be a big seller.
Okay, some of them are good. Not all of them are gold. All right, what is gold, though, is going to NishaJackson.com and finding out everything that you need to know to make yourself better, healthier, better, stronger, faster, all those things that they did for the $6 Million Man. Nisha pretty much can do. No, she's not going to make you bionic, but she's going to make you feel better. Go to NishaJackson.com. That's NishaJackson.com or OnePeakMedical.com, where you can see her clinics and all the people that work there, and it's really great stuff. Also, if you would subscribe. What should they do? Subscribe. Just do that and make sure you don't miss, and also hit that notification so that you don't miss any of the Nisha Jackson shows. Until next time. It's going to be a good one, the next one, right?
Yep. It's going to be good.
It'll be good.
Stay tuned.
We'll catch you next time. I'm Rusty Humphries. There's Nisha Jackson, and this is the Nisha Jackson Show.